Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 239 of the Gaming Meal podcast. As always, we are here to deliver some gaming related news and discussions in the form of a three-course meal. However, this will be a little bit different. I am the only host for today's podcast. I didn't want to go too long without posting a podcast, so I'm going to do this solo. And for today's episode, we're not going to really have a main course per se. I'm just going to go over three main news or big news that have come out recently, and one of them will actually be a couple of games that have come out in terms of reviews impressions. So with that, I will take it away. All right. So again, the first news that I wanted to talk about today is, and this is more fun for me since I'm doing this solo, is I want to talk about some recent game reviews that have come out, particularly three games that have come out recently that have had reviews that I have been able to play in length, and I'll be able to talk about them real quick. And I'm going to go over them based on OpenCritic review scores. And I'm going to go first with Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6 came out just about 2 weeks ago. At this point, it feels like the October time frame for video games is very, very busy. There's so many games coming out weekly, and we're still at the assault because apparently Outer Worlds 2 comes out next week, and that's getting great reviews. So I'm going to have to find some time to play that. So Battlefield 6, it came out. Apparently one of the news that we want to talk about was it sold over 7 million copies in its first 3 days at launch. That is great news for obviously Electronic Arts, which has recently been acquired / gone private. And it shatters records for Battlefield as the biggest launch in the franchise's history. So yeah, Battlefield is very healthy. I have been playing it almost constantly, almost every night in the last, again, week or two. I'm mostly a medic recon, if you know what that means. Basically the different classes in Battlefield. And it's classic Battlefield. Some of the challenges can be a little bit difficult, but that's kind of part of it, where I've been trying to do some of them here and there. And yeah, it's got very interesting maps, a lot smaller maps than you would think about for other Battlefields, if I recall in the past. So there's really not much empty time when it comes to running around, and there's nothing to do. Like if you spawn in any one of the spots, if you're playing Conquest, like you have a giant area, you need to basically capture as many of the territories as possible and burn the tickets down of the enemies. You're gonna have action relatively quickly after spawning, which is really good. So again, and I'm gonna keep this short. So that's been a lot of fun. Battlefield 6, again with an 84 on OpenCritic. That's one of the three games that I wanted to cover. And again, I'm trying to do this quickly because otherwise I could basically be monologuing for half an hour. The next game is Pokemon Legends CA. So okay, this has an 83 on OpenCritic. And it's interesting, this is one of the big Nintendo Switch 2, or Nintendo Switch 1, because it's also for Nintendo Switch 1. Games that came out. It's a new Pokemon Legends game. There's another one previously a few years ago called Arceus. And that basically revitalized, rethought the formula for Pokemon. So this one kind of does the same thing. And it brings us an active action system or combat, which is interesting because Pokemon has always been turn-based, very RPG, Japanese RPG like, where you can't move during battles, right? It's not active combat like a Witcher or anything like that. So yeah, it's very interesting combat. And on my channel, CyberEric Gaming on YouTube, there is a video that kind of explains the gameplay of it, so feel free to go check that out. I'll say this, the game has good and bad. The combat system, I think, is great. I actually love it. I actually would hope future Pokemon games incorporate something like this, because it makes it so that no longer are you playing around and you're basically capturing what are the 4 strongest moves that a Pokemon can have and have those. Because the stronger the move here, the longer the cooldown, because it's an active combat system. If you can't attack for another, let's say, 10-15 seconds, you're gonna get killed. So a small dumb attack like Quick Attack becomes extremely useful because it's got a cooldown of 3 seconds. Is it weak? Sure, but it comes back quick, which means you can use it multiple times. and it just and other moves like Leer or anything like that. If you know what the Leer is, basically lowers the opponent Pokemon's defense stat. If moves like that actually are helpful because as you're basically waiting for the cooldown for your attacks, you can use some of these support moves that usually, to be perfectly honest, you really didn't need them in previous Pokemon games that much. But in this game, they're really useful. So I'm looking forward to how the community evolves and learns from this combat system. But the bad part of Pokemon Legends CA is honestly the map and the whole system. Capturing Pokemon is still fun, right? It's still basic. Lower the Pokemon's health, draw a Pokeball, grab him. The problem is that it's only you're stuck in this big circular city, which again it's a big city, but it's very empty. There's nothing else to do. It's like a PlayStation 2 level era open world map, and there weren't open world maps in PlayStation 2 because there was nothing to do in those open world areas. And this game is like, unless you have a side quest, there's really nothing to do unless you go to like a wild area or you're at night and you're going into one of the combat areas. So it's an interesting take because it's like the setting is extremely boring because you're never outside. You're always in the city. You're never in the wild. So that urban environment, that could have done a lot better. Like it's very simple that way, but again, there's plenty of things to do, but just it gets really boring very quickly. So I can see the positives and the negatives. I think those are the complaints that I've seen the community complain about. But again, I'm still playing it more. I think I had like 20 hours into it, but it's a fun game. The last game I want to talk about real quick, this is Ninja Gaiden 4. This is the latest game from Team Ninja in coordination with Platinum Games. So combat royalty here for developers. It's got an 82 on OpenCritic. And yeah, it kind of brings the series back where I kind of forgot how this game's played. And by the way, I went back and played Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which recently got a remake, just to try it out. And I'm like, whew, this combat system is rough, but it's still really good. It's just like, it's difficult. These games are not that easy. You're supposed to parry, you're supposed to move around, you're supposed to find blocks, and the enemies can do the same to you. And in Ninja Gaiden 4, it has a couple of things that will help you make it easier. For the most part, there's so many quick, fast-paced combos here and there that it's like, it's an adrenaline rush to play this game. I'm still going through it. I'm still like in Act 3, 4. And I'm unlocking a couple of weapons, different ninja moves, different things you can buy. You can upgrade your character with different moves, different combos. It's interesting. The whole blood thing they have where you can activate something to expand your weapon, make it blood related or red, whatever you want to call it. I forgot the exact terminology the game uses, but it's interesting. It's not bad. But that's Ninja Gaiden 4. I am still playing through it. I am gonna make a video for my channel, CyberEric, so again, feel free to look forward to that. There's other games that have come out. For example, I was playing a game called Ball X Pit that came out for Xbox Game Pass. It's also going to take World by Storm. I probably will make a video of that as well on my channel because I had a lot of fun with it, and it's like this roguelike breakout game, but more on that later. I'll probably talk about it with Manny and others in the podcast when we come back next week, hopefully. So real quick, the other news, I wanted to basically tackle two big news that came out this past couple of weeks. Particularly this week, and I want to talk about one particularly, and I'll mention this quickly because it kind of drives the main topic that I want to talk about. It's like there was an article from Bloomberg actually yesterday, on Thursday, October 23rd, that apparently the last 2 years Microsoft has pushed Xbox to hit profit margins of like 30%, which is sometimes higher than what's called the industry average. So as you probably have heard of us and you've seen the news in the gaming news in the last couple of weeks, Microsoft has been going all over with some crazy decisions like the ROG Ally X costing the premium one costing like $1,000, $999, to raising 50% the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate price. That's a crazy huge price increase for a subscription service. And obviously releasing games on the PlayStation 5, and I'll talk about it on my third and final topic here, but this is the second topic. And basically, yeah, we've seen a lot of different changes with Microsoft over the last year or two, like really big changes, which is like they're clearly no longer pushing the console itself, the Xbox hardware. They're pushing for increase to whatever profit margins they can do by releasing, for example, their games on PlayStation and Nintendo platforms. If you recall, the PlayStation Store had like top 6 of the top 10 best-selling games of PlayStation Network a month or two ago were Xbox games. There was Forza, it was Sea of Thieves or whatever it was, Gears of War, Reloaded. So Microsoft is releasing their games in all the systems, and they're selling well. So and they're good games. So that's been Microsoft's push. But I always thought that this was the case, and I think my brother, for example, or my cousin will agree with me. But we never really heard about it until like at least this article kind of confirms that. Apparently, some employees are saying that they basically have a 30% profit, not revenue, no goals or anything like that, a profit target that they're trying to get to, and let's see how it works for them, because again, I don't think most people really like. They feel that the Xbox brand is basically dying. Based in the last couple of weeks, it definitely has felt really, really negative. And this is for myself. I'm a huge Xbox fan, but it's really rough to kind of support this company based on all the very aggressive, I want to call them mean, but it's a business, but changes they've done to their business practices. And I'll give you an example. One of the articles or one of the news that we were going to talk about was that there was a comment from Sarah Bond, who's the president of Xbox, and that she stated that and I'm quoting here, the next gen Xbox console is going to be a very premium, very high-end curated experience. End quote. That basically tells me that they're looking to, and in the past, when you buy a console, it's kind of subsidized. You're not paying the full price of what it costs to make. You're basically paying it with the idea that the console manufacturer, be a PlayStation, a Nintendo, like Switch, GameCube, right, whatever, or an Xbox in this case, you're selling the console, the hardware, with the idea that you're going to make a profit on the 30% software credit you get from any software sold, or obviously the software that they make almost 100% of it, right? So that's the trick, that's the difference. So with that, those type of comments tells you that the next Xbox, it's not going to be cheap. I don't think it's going to be close to 500, 600, 700. I think it's going to be 800, 900 or more. Because it seems to me like they're obviously no longer wanting to lose money, because they're being pushed to make a profit. So any hardware they sell, they also have to make a profit, etc., etc. So we'll wait and see. There's a bunch of other news from Xbox that I'm not gonna tackle because it's just depressing / not fun for the consumer / let's see what they do. So my third and final topic, and I can almost consider this our main course for this week, even though I am doing this solo, is a new game announcement. And I'm making this my own topic because, first of all, nobody's here, nobody can stop me. And that is a Halo Campaign Evolved, not Combat Evolved, Campaign Evolved, but it's still Halo CE, and I'm gonna call it that from now on. A new game was announced called Campaign Evolved Halo CE, coming out for Xbox, PC, and PlayStation 5. This is a fully modernized remake of the first Halo game, recreated in Unreal Engine. We actually knew that this was a thing. Halo Studios, formerly 343 Industries, they renamed a few months or years ago. They announced that they were working on this for a while now, and they've been showing some pictures here and there. So we knew that they existed. We knew this was coming, but they kind of released a lot of footage today and a lot of news. They have an article from the New York Times talking about it. They even have YouTube videos on a trailer comparisons on for the game, etc., etc., and new trailer for this new game. And they even have a 13-minute video of an entire level, Silent Cartographer level, which I think is the second, third level of the game. And yeah, it's apparently a complete remake of Halo CE, Combat Evolved. like a campaign evolved now. It includes the original campaign. It includes 3 brand new prequel missions, which I like this idea. I find this a lot of fun because obviously we have reached. It's not like, oh, you can't go back and like we know the story we had before Halo. Halo is a story. Things happened before then, even if you read the novels. So this sounds like a lot of fun. I'm super game for this. Obviously, you're gonna have HD visuals, new audio, etc., etc. Redefined controls is one of the main things that I saw from this, where we're gonna have sprinting. We're no longer gonna be not walking, but there was one speed in old Halo games. You're gonna have sprinting. You're gonna have ADS or aiming down the sights. For the weapons, I am a fan of this. I'm like, please. I've always said bring Halo to the 20th century. And by the way, Halo CE is originally a 2001 game, so it's 24 years old at this point. So good to know that. There's gonna be all the weapons from Halo CE are back, but there's gonna be also new weapons for this game. So for example, like the energy sword, you really couldn't pick it up. There were enemies that had it in Halo CE, but you couldn't pick up the energy sword. You could in Halo 2. Right, so they're adding that in there. They're adding squares like, hey, some of these weapons. We're adding a couple of these weapons from Halo 2, 3 into the Halo 1 CE Lord because those weapons should have existed. So that's good. Obviously, there's going to be modifying skulls, so you can modify when you play the game. You can play it obviously solo, 2-player split screen. They do have player split screen for the campaign. It's console only. It's not available for PC, and they also have up to 4-player online co-op that offers full crossplay and full cross progression support. And this does not include multiplayer. There is no multiplayer in this, which is interesting, but I'm game for that. I've always said they should have done this with Halo Infinite. They should have sold that game, the campaign separately, and cheaper, but I don't control that. They should have done this separately. They should have done this for Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite is still a really good game. I like it, even though I'm alone and nobody can stop me from saying that. But yeah, this is good. Halo CE is coming back. It's coming out in 2026. Again, also for PlayStation 5 on day one. They announced that. People are making it like, oh my god, the console war is over, etc., etc. I'm like, we've known this is coming for PlayStation 5 a long time ago, at least for me. So there was no shock there. But yeah, interesting stuff. A new Halo. Again, there's a lot of footage already online, including a full map. It looks gorgeous. It looks amazing. I'm really looking forward to this. But again, obviously, there's going to be criticisms, particularly for it coming to PlayStation 5, but also, again, they're pushing their profit margin there. But also, we'll see how it plays, etc., etc. It is coming to Game Pass, obviously, so I'll get it that way. I'll probably buy it eventually when it's like $20. If I'll buy it on the Xbox, on the PlayStation, or PC, or Steam, that's an interesting question. Excuse me. But yeah, Halo Campaign Evolved was announced. That just happened today, like a couple hours ago. So that's why I'm making this crazy solo recording, because I'm like, I want to talk about this. Or at least I want to mention it. But that's mostly it that I have. This includes basically the DJ Steves, because I talked what games I've been playing earlier on during those game reviews, and I talked about Halo, and I talked about what's going on with kind of Microsoft. And again, there's a bunch of other news that we won't tackle. I'll capture those whenever we have the full cast of the Gaming Meal podcast later this week or next week. So with that, that's it. I don't have no desserts because, again, I'm trying to make this quickly. I'm at the 19-minute mark. I'm looking at it here. So that was my goal. My goal was to make this 15-20 minutes of a solo podcast to kind of fill you guys in. Again, Halo Campaign Evolved was announced. There's a couple of other news. There's a couple of new games coming out. I'll be looking forward to playing things like Power Wash Simulator 2. That just came out, I think, yesterday. And Outer Worlds 2 that comes out next week. I'm really looking forward to that as well. I'm a very big fan of Outer Worlds 1, and I've heard they just basically improved it. So, but with that, yeah, that's mostly it for today's podcast. And with that, I'm gonna go with our outro. So as we end our gaming meal, we would like everybody, thanks for everybody for listening. You can look for Gaming Meal at most social media platforms, and you can look for me, CyberEric, at also at those platforms. Feel free to share, give a follow, leave a comment, all the social media stuff. Also, please visit our website, thegamingmeal.com, for more gaming meal goodness. And that is all for today. Have a good one, everyone.